Listen carefully. Confidence is not loud. Power does not announce itself. And the most dangerous person in any room is the one who doesn't try to prove anything. This audiobook is not about hype. It's about control. Control of your face, your tone, your reactions, your presence. By the end of this session, people will feel something different when you walk into a room. Not because you speak louder, but because you no longer need to speak at all. If you've ever tried to seek approval, explain yourself, overtalk, or prove your worth, that ends today. This is where silent confidence begins. And once it's built, you'll never chase validation again.
Chapter 1. Stop broadcasting weakness. Every time you overshare, you give something away. Every time you over-explain, you shrink your position. Every time you overtalk, you leak authority. Read that again. Let it sink in. Most people think confidence is about expression, about speaking up, about telling your story, about making sure you're understood. That's a lie. Confidence is containment. Strength is restraint. Power is quiet. Silence is strength. You have a choice. You can either talk your way out of respect or act your way into it. That's the key. Right now, most people broadcast weakness without realizing it. They narrate their problems. They explain their emotions. They justify their choices. They fill silence because silence makes them uncomfortable. And in doing so, they expose themselves. Weakness doesn't shout. Weakness explains itself. Strength doesn't rush to speak. Strength waits. Strength watches. Strength decides if a response is even necessary. What you don't say carries more weight than what you do. Let that become your rule. The world doesn't reward loud people. It responds to grounded people. Have you ever noticed this? The most respected person in the room is rarely the one talking the most. It's the one people glance at before making decisions. It's the one whose body is relaxed, whose movements are slower, whose voice, when it finally shows up, is controlled and precise. That's not an accident. Power is felt, not announced. Yet people today can't stop explaining themselves like they're on trial. I just meant what I was trying to say. Let me explain myself. I didn't mean it like that. Stop. You don't need their permission to exist. You don't need their approval to make a decision. And you definitely don't need to narrate your every move. You have a choice. Either you keep trying to make people understand you, or you start becoming someone they feel. That's the shift. That's the key. Think about a courtroom. Who speaks the most? The defendant. The one with the weakest position talks the longest. The judge barely speaks. Authority doesn't hustle for airtime. It waits until the room is ready to listen. And here's the truth you need to swallow. The more you explain, the less powerful you appear. The more you justify, the more guilty you look. The more you talk, the more irrelevant you become. It's not about expression. It's about discipline. It's not about being heard. It's about being felt. Silence is strength. Now listen, I'm not telling you to become mute. I'm telling you to become intentional. Big difference. Right now, you speak emotionally. You react verbally. You fill space automatically. That's weakness. Power speaks strategically, with purpose, with timing, with economy. That's the shift. You have a choice. The next time someone challenges you, you can rush to defend, or you can pause. The pause is power. The pause tells the room, I'm not threatened. I'm not scrambling. I don't need to chase control. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to confront themselves, and most people can't handle that. So they talk, they ramble, they confess, they reveal. But the calm one, the still one, the one who watches instead of reacting, that's the one they remember. That's the one they respect. What you don't say carries more weight than what you do. Let's bring this into real life. Think about interviews. The person who answers every question with a 5-minute story looks nervous. The one who answers clean, calm, direct looks dangerous. Because you can't read them, because you can't predict them, because they don't leak emotion. Listen closely. The unreadable man is the powerful one. The emotionally transparent one is the controllable one. You have a choice. Either you tell everyone how you feel, or you make them question how you think. And in that questioning, you gain the upper hand. That's the key. Now let's talk posture, because your mouth is not the only thing broadcasting weakness. Your body tells the truth before you speak. Hunched shoulders scream insecurity. Restless hands scream anxiety. Fast movements scream lack of control. Slow down. Stand tall. Still your body. Control your face. Your silence loses power when your body fidgets. Stillness is confidence. Control is confidence. Containment is confidence. What you don't say carries more weight than what you do. You ever notice how high-level leaders sit? They don't shrink. They don't twitch. They don't rush. They occupy space. Their presence enters the room before their voice ever does. That is learned. That is trained. That is built. And you start building it right now. Practice silence. Not passive silence. Command silence. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, resist it. When you feel tempted to justify, observe it. When you want to fill the gap, hold it. You'll feel tension. Good. That means you're growing. Growth happens where discomfort lives. Every moment you stay silent instead of oversharing, you reclaim authority. Every moment you resist the emotional spill, you harden your confidence. Every time you choose restraint, you rise. You have a choice. Now let's talk storytelling. Stop telling people your plans. Stop announcing your goals. Stop narrating your self-improvement journey. Work quietly. Build silently. Let outcomes do the talking. Because results speak louder than motivation ever will. You don't need their permission to evolve. You don't need their applause to improve. You don't need their validation to grow. If you're talking about it, you're leaking energy. If you're building it, you're gaining presence. It's not about visibility, it's about inevitability. That's the key. Now here's a truth most people hate to accept. The more you try to be understood, the less mysterious you become. And mystery creates magnetism. People respect what they can't fully read. People value what doesn't seek attention. People follow what doesn't beg. Silence makes others lean in. Noise makes them tune out. You don't need to announce your power. You build it. Then you carry it. Then you let the room discover it. What you don't say carries more weight than what you do. This is not about hiding. This is about collecting yourself. This is not about being cold. This is about being composed. This is not about rejecting others. This is about mastering yourself. You have a choice. Either you live externally or operate internally. Externally, you react. Internally, you command. That's the shift. Now, a practical test. For the next 24 hours, do not volunteer information. Do not explain unless asked. Do not justify unless required. Speak only when your words improve the situation. Otherwise, observe, watch, listen. Let silence work for you. The quiet man sees everything. The loud man misses everything because he's too busy hearing himself. Remember this: silence is not absence, it's presence sharpened, and presence is power. Now lock this in your nervous system. What you don't say carries more weight than what you do. Silence is strength. Containment is confidence. Say it in your head. I do not over-explain. I do not overshare. I do not over-talk. I move quietly. I build silently. I allow results to speak for me. That's the identity shift. That's the foundation. You don't need their permission to stop leaking your power. And now you understand your mouth is either your weapon or your weakness. Choose wisely. You mastered the power of silence. Now it's time to remove your most toxic habit, the need to be liked. Chapter 2. Kill the need to be liked. The need to be liked is poison. It's subtle, it's silent, it feels harmless, but it controls your decisions. Every time you change your tone to please someone, every time you soften your truth to keep approval, every time you hide your standards to avoid discomfort, you betray yourself. And here's the truth most people avoid. The people who try hardest to be liked are the least respected. Read that again. Chasing approval drains you of authority. Needing validation cheapens your presence. Respect is never begged for, it's felt. You have a choice. You can be liked and weak, or respected and calm. You cannot optimize for both. That's the key. If you want dangerous confidence, you must kill the addiction to approval. Because as long as external acceptance controls you, you are not in control of you. The moment you need someone to like you, you give them power over you. Power over how you speak, power over what you tolerate, power over what you become. And power handed away is power lost. You don't need their permission to change, not to grow, not to walk away, not to be different. But the approval seeker does. The approval seeker waits for praise, for reassurance, for acceptance. And as long as you wait, you remain small. You have a choice. Either you let the crowd shape you, or you shape yourself. One leads to comfort, the other leads to command. That's the key. Let's talk about people-pleasing. It looks innocent. It sounds polite, but it's fear in disguise. Fear of being rejected, fear of being judged, fear of standing alone. So you nod when you disagree. You smile when you're disrespected. You stay quiet when you should speak. And every time you do, your confidence decays. Because self-respect cannot coexist with self-betrayal. If you keep choosing peace over truth, you will never feel strong. If you keep choosing approval over principles, you will never feel solid. You have a choice. Be comfortable or be respected. Most people choose comfort and pay with their identity. Now listen closely. It doesn't concern you what other people think of you. It only concerns you what you think of yourself. It doesn't concern you if they agree. It only concerns you if you disagree with you. That's the only thing that matters. Because if 99% of the world agrees with you,
but you dislike yourself, you are not strong. And if 99% of the world disagrees with you, but you respect yourself, you are a king. That's the key. Now, let's talk about compliments, praise, approval. They feel good, and that's why they're addictive. Once you taste validation, your brain wants more. And when your brain gets used to it, it starts to fear its absence. So you chase it. You check for reactions. You scan for feedback. You interpret silence as rejection. And suddenly, your mood is in someone else's hands. That's weakness. Real confidence is emotional independence. It means your self-worth does not rise or fall with approval. It means you operate from conviction, not compliment. It's not about being cold. It's about being centered. What you need to understand is this. The moment you stop needing to be liked, people start to respect you because you become unpredictable, untouchable, unbothered, and people respect what they can't control. You become harder to manipulate, harder to guilt, harder to pressure, harder to influence. Why? Because your worth is no longer for sale. That's the key. Now let's do a reality check. Has trying to be liked ever really protected you? Has it stopped betrayal? Has it prevented disrespect? Has it secured loyalty? No. It's done the opposite. People test those who try to be liked. They push boundaries. They see how much you'll tolerate. And the nicer you try to be, the more they take. Because kindness without strength invites exploitation. Confidence without approval builds protection. Now understand this. Being disliked does not make you wrong. Being misunderstood does not make you bad. Being different does not make you broken. It makes you unmanageable. And power lives in being unmanageable. You have a choice. Blend in or stand firm. Blend in and be forgettable. Stand firm and be respected. That's the path. Now let's be practical. Here's your training. Stop chasing validation immediately. Do not fish for compliments. Do not adjust your opinion mid-sentence. Do not apologize for your presence. Do not over-smile. Do not soften your voice to sound harmless. Speak grounded. Move slow. Hold eye contact. Let silence hang. You don't need their permission to exist. You don't need their blessing to decide. You don't need their praise to proceed. Let that sink in. Now watch what happens. Some people will resist you. Some will pull away. Some will test you harder. Good. Let them. Because the ones who only liked the version of you that was easy never respected the real you anyway. And the ones who stay are the ones who always belonged. Killing the need to be liked cleans your life. It removes parasites. It reveals allies. It sharpens your relationships. It fortifies your mind. You have a choice. Be consumed by approval or free from it. Freedom feels lonely at first. Then it feels like oxygen. That's the key. Now say this inside your head. I do not need to be liked to be powerful. I do not need approval to move forward. I do not need validation to stand firm. I respect myself first. I approve of myself first. I lead myself first. That's the order. That's the discipline. And discipline is confidence in action. Not emotion, not performance. Discipline. It's not about being loved. It's about being aligned. And alignment beats popularity every time. Popularity fades. Respect compounds. Now lock this in. The need to be liked turns you into a puppet. Self-respect turns you into a force.
choose force. You mastered silence. You killed the need for approval. Now you're ready for the next skill. Absolute control of your face. Because emotion leaks, and your face reveals everything.
Chapter 3. Control your face. Control the room. Your face betrays you. Before you speak, before you move, before you decide, your face already told the truth. Fear shows there first. Anger shows there first. Insecurity shows there first. And the world reads it instantly. That's not accidental. Humans are wired to read micro-expressions, to sense discomfort, to detect weakness. And if your face leaks emotion, you leak authority. That's the key. You have a choice. You can wear your emotions like a billboard, or you can master them like a weapon. One makes you predictable. The other makes you dangerous. When your face moves uncontrollably, you give away your position. If you frown when challenged, smile when nervous, widen your eyes when unsure, people feel it. They may not consciously name it, but they sense it. And sensing weakness changes how they treat you, silently, constantly, without apology. You don't need their permission to learn control, but you must decide to train it. Now listen carefully. Confidence does not mean always smiling. Power does not mean always scowling. Control means neutrality until intention appears. The dangerous face is not emotional. It is unreadable. When your facial expression is calm and grounded, people cannot predict your reactions. They don't know if you upset you. They don't know if they impressed you. They don't know if they're winning or losing. And that uncertainty gives you power, because people respect what they cannot read. They fear what they cannot predict, and they follow what feels stable. That's the key. You have a choice. Continue advertising your emotions, or become a blank screen that forces others to project. One makes you exposed. The other makes you commanding. Think about elite soldiers, high-level negotiators, experienced leaders, actors known for screen presence. They all share one thing: facial discipline. Their emotions do not hijack their face. Their nervous system does not spill outward. They stay centered even under pressure. And that's why people trust them and fear disappointing them. Your face is either your shield or your weakness. Now let's break a lie. A common one. You should just be expressive. No. You should be intentional. Uncontrolled expression is not authenticity. It's reactivity. And reactivity is weakness. Static emotion is dominance. The less emotional movement your face shows, the more gravity your presence has. It's not about being cold, it's about being calm. It's not about being stiff. It's about being solid. What you don't show carries more weight than what you do. Now look at your past. Think of moments where someone challenged you, ignored you, disrespected you. How did your face react? Did it tighten? Did it shift? Did it reveal frustration? If so, you gave them information they didn't deserve. Every reaction you show is data for the other person. They collect it. They use it, consciously or subconsciously. You have a choice. You can give away your tells, or you can erase them. Poker players learn this. So do fighters. So do leaders. They train their expressions because they know the one who gives away emotion loses leverage. That's the key. Now here's your training. Daily. Simple. Brutal. Step 1. Mirror work. Look into your own eyes for 2 minutes. No smiling. No shifting. No twitching. Just stillness. At first, you'll feel uncomfortable. Good. That means your nervous system is addicted to movement. Stillness retrains it. Step 2. Neutral response training.
When someone says something emotional, positive or negative, say nothing for 3 seconds. No nodding, no eyebrow movement, no fake smile. Stay calm, stay neutral. Speak only after your body is controlled. That pause creates power. Step 3. Emotional masking. When you feel anger, excitement, or fear, keep your face unchanged. Let emotion exist internally without being displayed externally. That's not suppression. That's command. Emotion can exist, but it does not drive. That's the rule. Now listen closely. This is not about deception. This is about discipline. The person who controls their face controls their body, controls their responses, controls the room. Because emotion spreads, and whoever masters emotional energy becomes the center of influence. If your face is calm, others calm down. If your face is composed, others hesitate. If your face is disciplined, others adjust. That's power. Silent power. You don't need their permission to take it. Now understand this. A neutral face does not mean passive. It means unreadable. It means you decide when emotion shows. It means you choose what is revealed. And choice is power. Without choice, you're a reaction machine. With choice, you become deliberate. That's the difference between boys and leaders, between noise and presence, between insecurity and command. You have a choice. Be emotionally transparent or be emotionally sovereign. One leaves you exposed, the other makes you untouchable. Now we're going deeper. Most facial reactivity comes from fear. Fear of being disliked. Fear of being judged. Fear of being challenged. But you already killed the need to be liked. Now you kill the reflex to react. Because reaction is not strength, it's impulse. And impulse can be controlled. With training, with awareness, with stillness. That's the key. Now repeat this silently. My face is calm. My mind is clear. My reactions are delayed. My presence is heavy. I do nothing unconsciously. I choose every movement. I decide every response. And the more you repeat it, the more it becomes instinct. Just like panic used to be instinct. Now discipline replaces it. Let your face become your fortress. Let nothing escape unless you allow it. Let people wonder what you think. Let them feel your gravity. Because mystery commands respect. Clarity invites challenge. Opacity creates authority. You mastered silence. You killed the need to be liked. Now you lock down the face. And with it, you lock down influence.
Chapter 4. Slow down everything. Speed is panic in disguise. Rushing is insecurity with momentum. Fast movement is emotion trying to escape. Control moves slowly. Read that again. Stillness is dominance. You have a choice. You can rush like someone trying to prove something, or move slowly like someone who already knows. That's the key. Right now, your speed reveals everything about you. The way you walk, the way you move your hands, the way you shift your body when you speak, the way you reply too quickly. All of it broadcasts your internal state. And when you move fast, people feel it. They may not explain it, but they sense chaos, urgency, tension. And tension always signals weakness. Calm does the opposite. Calm attracts trust. Calm implies confidence. calm communicates authority without words. Slow down. Not just your body, your thinking, your voice, your reactions, your breathing. Fast decisions come from emotional pressure. Slow decisions come from internal control. The man who pauses dominates the man who panics. That's the key. Now listen closely. People who rush feel behind. People who slow down feel ahead. That's not philosophy. That's power psychology. The one who moves slowly forces the world to move at their tempo, and tempo is leadership. The fastest person in the room is rarely the leader. The calmest one is, because everyone subconsciously sinks to the one who doesn't react. You have a choice. Move like you're being chased, or walk like nothing can catch you. One feeds anxiety, the other builds presence. Now take inventory. Where do you rush? When you enter a room? When you sit down? When someone asks you a question? When there's silence? That's not efficiency. That's fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of appearing unsure. Fear of being uncomfortable. But discomfort is your training ground. The slower you move, the more control you gain. Because slowing down forces emotional discipline. Your nervous system rebels at first. It wants to twitch. It wants to act. It wants to escape stillness. Let it burn. That's weakness dying. That's the key. Now understand this. People who move slowly are harder to manipulate because manipulation requires hurry, pressure, urgency, deadlines, emotion. The slow man is immune. He waits, he weighs, he watches. And while others scramble, he sees the truth. People cannot control what they cannot rush. So slow down. Now. From this moment forward, when you stand up, do it deliberately. When you walk, walk like you have time. When you speak, leave space between words, silence between sentences. Let your voice settle. Let your presence marinate. That's how power cooks. Low heat, long time. Rushed heat burns food, and people feel that too. Now let's talk about reactions. The fastest thing to slow down is your mouth. Stop responding instantly. Pause, breathe, let 3 seconds pass, then decide if the response is worth it. Not everything deserves words. Not everything deserves energy. Not everything deserves your emotion. Silence filters weakness. Speed leaks it. You have a choice. React emotionally or respond strategically. One empowers others, the other fortifies you. That's the key. Now here's what happens when you slow down everything. Your mind clears. Your vision sharpens. Your body relaxes. You stop broadcasting desperation. You start emanating stability. And stability is irreversibly attractive. People orbit calm because chaos is exhausting. Now let's go deeper. Fast movements reveal uncertainty. Slow movements suggest certainty. Because when you know something, you don't rush. When you're confident, you don't scramble. When you trust yourself, you don't hurry. You settle. And people follow settled energy. If you want to command a room, lower your speed. If you want respect, hold your frame. If you want presence, reduce urgency. Slow is not lazy. Slow is intentional. Slow is controlled. Slow is dangerous. Speed is sloppy. Speed is careless. Speed is emotional. It's not about speed. It's about discipline. Now listen carefully. Your walking speed should signal, I'm not concerned. Your sitting speed should signal, I'm not rushed. Your speaking speed should signal, I choose my words. Your silence should signal, I am not empty. Every movement sends a message. Right now, you are always communicating. The question is, what are you broadcasting? You have a choice. Hurry like a spectator or walk like a director. One watches life, the other shapes it. Now, here's your training instruction. No exceptions. When emotions surge, slow your body. Anger, slow your breathing. Anxiety, slow your steps. Excitement, slow your voice. Emotion feeds on speed. Starve it. Starve emotion with control. And control grows when speed dies. That's the key. Now close your eyes for a second. Picture a person walking in slowly. Posture straight. Head steady. Movements clean. No rush. That figure feels powerful. Now picture someone rushing, tripping, speaking fast, looking around. That figure feels uncertain. That's not opinion. That's biology. Humans evolved to read movement. Stillness always signals strength, because predators don't sprint constantly. They stalk, they pause, they wait. Calm, then strike. You don't sprint through life. You stalk your goals. You move with patience, with awareness, with quiet fire. That is dangerously confident. That's the behavior shift. Now repeat this inside your body. I move slow. I breathe slow. I speak slow. I think slow. And because I move slow, I see more. I feel less. I control more. Let that become your rhythm. Make slowness your weapon. Make stillness your strategy. Make calm your reputation. You mastered silence. You killed approval. You controlled your face. Now you slow everything down, because speed exposes you and control conceals nothing.
Chapter 5. Speak only when it matters. Your words are not neutral. They either build your power or drain it. Every unnecessary word is a withdrawal from your authority. Every emotional sentence is a leak. Every pointless explanation is a confession. You don't need to fill air. You need to command it. That's the key. You have a choice. You can speak constantly and be ignored, or speak rarely and be remembered. One makes you noise. The other makes you presence. And presence always wins. Most people talk themselves out of power. They overtalk because silence scares them. They explain because uncertainty makes them uncomfortable. They dominate conversations because stillness feels like death. But silence is not emptiness. Silence is pressure. The pressure that makes others speak. The pressure that reveals intentions. The pressure that exposes motives. When you stay quiet, people show you who they really are, because they fill the space. And in filling the space, they leak truth. That's the key. Now listen carefully. The first person to speak often loses. In negotiation, in conflict, in power dynamics, because speaking first reveals position. Silence forces the other side to reveal theirs. So you wait, you observe, you decide if words are even needed. And many times,
They are not. You have a choice. Rush to reply, or let silence do the work. One gives ground, the other takes it. Now let's kill a myth. Talking shows confidence. No. Talking shows comfort. Confidence shows restraint. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. They are usually the most nervous, trying to dominate energy with sound, while the quiet one shapes energy with presence. That's the difference. Your mouth is not your weapon. Your control is. Words are only effective when placed surgically, not emotionally, not impulsively, not reactively. It's not about expression. It's about precision. That's the shift. Now think back. How many times have you explained yourself to someone who wasn't even listening? How many times have you argued with someone who had already decided? How many words have you wasted trying to bend people who were never going to bend? Stop. That's not communication. That's energy bleeding. You don't need their permission to move. You don't need agreement to proceed. You don't need applause to proceed. Words are not how you prove. Actions are. Silence is. Consistency is. Your mouth should be the last resort, not the first reflex. Now let's talk about dominance. When you speak less, others lean in more. Because humans fear silence. They fear not knowing. They fear not being in control. So they speak. They explain. They negotiate against themselves, while you listen, collecting data, reading energy, watching for emotion. And when you finally speak, every word lands. Because it's rare, because it's chosen, because it's heavy. The power of your words is in their scarcity. That's the key. You have a choice. Talk like everyone else, or speak like it matters. Now here's your training. Effective immediately. Do not answer immediately. Do not speak to fill. Do not explain unless asked. Do not argue with noise. Let emotion burn out on its own. Most fires die if you starve them of oxygen. Silence starves chaos. Responses feed it. When someone insults you, pause. Let them expose themselves. When someone challenges you, pause. Let confidence reply instead of ego. When someone demands attention, deny it. Attention is currency. Do not hand it out cheaply. You don't need their permission to be quiet. Your silence is not weakness. It is intimidation disguised as calm. Now understand this. People talk to release tension. You stay silent to create it. They vent. You observe. They plead. You pause. They confess. You decide. And in that waiting, you gain leverage. Because leverage is built while others perform. That's the key. Now let's get physical. Lower your voice. Speak slower. Say less. When you do speak, be brief, clear, neutral. No emotional decoration, no filler, no fluff. Your tone should suggest, every word I use is intentional. Your silence should suggest, I'm not missing anything. Now here's a hard truth. The more you talk, the easier you are to figure out. But the man who stays quiet becomes a mystery. Mystery commands attention. Predictability invites disrespect. You choose. Be readable or be respected. Now we sharpen it. 3 rules. If it doesn't improve the situation, don't say it. If it's driven by emotion, don't say it. If it's only for approval, don't say it. Most of what people say fails all 3 tests. And that's why most people aren't taken seriously. Your words should be lean, purposeful, heavy. If you're not adding value, you're subtracting authority. Period. You have a choice. Be part of the noise or be the silence that controls it. One makes you forgettable. The other makes you dominant. That's the key. Now practice this daily. Conversations, meetings, conflicts. Resist the urge to jump in. Let others stumble over silence. Let them reveal motives. Let them make mistakes. Then, when the room is ready, when attention is sharp, when energy has settled, you speak, and the room listens, because they had to wait for you. And anything that is waited for feels important. Your voice becomes inevitable. Now lock this in. I speak with intention. I stay silent with control. I do not perform. I do not scramble. My voice is rare. My presence is heavy. My silence is loud. You don't need their permission to withhold your words. And withholding is strength. You mastered silence. You killed the need to be liked. You controlled your face. You slowed everything down.
Chapter 6. End emotional reactivity. Nothing destroys authority faster than reaction. Not failure, not mistakes, not even loss. Reaction. The moment emotion controls your behavior, you surrender command. That's the key. You have a choice. You can let feelings run your life, or you can run them. One makes you fragile. The other makes you dangerous. Most people are emotional slaves. They react to words. They react to tone. They react to disrespect. They react to stress. Their mood swings like a door in the wind, and the world learns it quickly. Push here, they snap. Ignore them, they break. Insult them, they explode. That's not confidence. That's exposure. Reaction is weakness. Control is power. You don't need their permission to stop being reactive, but you must decide to become disciplined. Now listen carefully. Emotion itself is not the enemy. Impulse is. Anger is not weakness. Sadness is not weakness. Fear is not weakness. Acting from emotion, without command, is weakness. The disciplined mind feels everything, but is controlled by nothing. That's the goal. That's the key. Right now, your reactions reveal your vulnerabilities. If someone criticizes you and you tense, they learn where to hit. If someone ignores you and you chase, they learn how to control you. If someone provokes you and you snap, they gain dominance. Your reaction is their map, so stop drawing it. You have a choice. Continue being predictable or become unreadable. One makes you manageable. The other makes you untouchable. Now imagine this. Two people are insulted in public.
One lashes out, raises their voice, defends their ego. The other does nothing. No tension, no words, no visible change. Which one feels more powerful? Not the one who reacted, the one who didn't. Because control communicates superiority. Reaction communicates fragility. Power does not argue. Power evaluates. Silence under pressure is dominance in action. That's the key. Now let's break down what reaction really is. Reaction is emotion without delay. No gap, no command, just impulse. An impulse is a trained habit, which means it can be untrained. Right now, your nervous system is wired for immediacy. It wants release. It wants expression. It wants resolution. But discipline introduces delay, and delay creates power. The longer the delay between trigger and response, the more control you gain. Pause is your weapon. Pause is your shield. The pause is where you reclaim authority. That's the key. Now, here is your training. Simple, relentless, effective. Step 1. Notice the surge. Anger rises, anxiety hits, embarrassment floods. Do nothing. Just notice. Emotion fades when watched. It grows when fed. Step 2. Delay response. Count to 3. Not out loud. Inside. 1, 2, 3. Let the emotional wave pass, because emotion peaks, then falls. Always. Step 3. Choose. After the wave settles, decide how you want to move. Not from impulse, from principle. That's discipline. And discipline builds confidence, not feelings. Let me repeat it. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. That's the key. Now let's go deeper. Why are you reactive? Because somewhere along your life, reaction got rewarded. You reacted emotionally and got attention. You reacted loudly and got validation. You reacted defensively and felt safe. But safety built with emotion creates weakness. You've been conditioned to express instead of command. Now you reverse it. Now you train, I feel it, but I do not serve it. Repeat that. I feel it, but I do not serve it. Let emotion arise and then die of starvation because you do not feed it. This is not suppression. This is mastery. Now listen. Only weak people need to release everything. Strong people know which battles are worth energy. Everything doesn't deserve a response. Everything doesn't deserve emotion. Everything doesn't deserve explanation. Response is a resource. Spend it only when it returns power, not when it feeds drama, not when it satisfies ego, not when it leaks control. You have a choice. Emotionally react or strategically respond. One costs you presence. The other builds identity. That's the key. Now, think about the last argument you had. What was gained? Nothing. Think about the last time you snapped. Did it raise respect or did it lower it? Every emotional outburst reduces your gravity. It cheapens you because emotional explosion signals instability, and nobody follows instability. They avoid it. They manipulate it. They outgrow it, but they never respect it. Now, here's the truth. Emotional discipline is intimidating because most people want you reactive, predictable, explosive, easy to press. When you don't react, they feel uncomfortable, powerless, exposed. And in that discomfort, they respect you. Not consciously, but instinctively. You become heavy, not in body, in presence. That's the key. Now, here is a rule. Tattoo this internally. If it disturbs your peace, it deserves your silence. Not your reaction, your silence. Because silence communicates, I am not moved. And being unmoved is power. Now, let's add a second rule. If they want emotion, give them calm. Calm frustrates manipulators because manipulation feeds on urgency. Calm denies it energy. If someone tries to provoke, slow down more. If someone pressures, breathe slower. If someone pushes, ground harder. The calmer you are, the more control you have. This is how you dismantle emotional dominance, not with argument, with neutrality. That's the key. Now, say this inside your body. I do not argue emotionally. I do not react publicly. I do not give away power through impulse. I pause. I breathe. I decide. Let that become your new reflex. Not snapping, not defending, deciding. And deciding builds identity. Identity builds confidence. Not hype, not motivation, discipline. Now understand this. The greatest flex is not emotional explosion. It's emotional restraint. Anyone can lose control. Few can hold it. And the ones who can become unshakable, while others crumble. So when you feel the urge to react, smile internally, because that urge is the training ground. That is where power is built. Every trigger is a chance to dominate yourself. And the man who dominates himself cannot be dominated by others. That's the key. Now lock it in. Nothing controls me unless I allow it. Nothing provokes me unless I permit it. Nothing moves me without my consent. I am sovereign. My emotions exist, but they do not rule. You mastered silence. You killed approval. You controlled your face. You slowed the world. Now you control emotion. And with that, you remove your greatest weakness.
Chapter 7. Replace approval with self-respect. Approval makes you small. Self-respect makes you immovable. That's the key. As long as you measure your worth by other people's reactions, you are not free. You are a hostage, held by opinions, controlled by moods, directed by validation, and anything that controls you owns you. You have a choice. Live approved or live aligned. One makes you comfortable. The other makes you powerful. Now listen carefully. Self-respect is not loud. It does not announce. It does not argue. It does not beg. It simply refuses to tolerate what violates its standards. Most people don't lack confidence. They lack boundaries. They tolerate disrespect. They accept poor treatment. They stay in places that drain them, and they call it loyalty. That's not loyalty. That's self-betrayal. You do not build confidence by being liked. You build it by enforcing standards. And every time you say no to what violates you, you say yes to power. That's the key. Now let's expose the sickness. You've been trained to chase approval. From authority, from coworkers, from friends, from lovers, from strangers on screens. And the cost?
your identity. Because when you adjust yourself to fit, you lose your shape. You stop knowing who you are. And when you don't know who you are, you settle. You accept crumbs. You stay quiet. You shrink. That ends. You don't need their permission to raise your standards, to walk away, to demand respect, to choose better. That authority comes from inside, not from applause, not from permission, from principle. That's the shift. Now let's get real. Self-respect is uncomfortable because enforcing standards creates friction. People will test you, push you, question you. Some will walk away. Good, let them. Every boundary has a cost, and that cost is paid by parasites, by time wasters, by disrespect, by relationships that drain, by environments that weaken. If someone leaves when you set standards, they were never meant to stay. The trash takes itself out, and your life gets lighter. That's the key. Now let's talk behavior, because self-respect is not a feeling, it's an action. You build it by what you tolerate and what you reject. If you tolerate lies, you tell your mind you deserve deception. If you tolerate disrespect, you tell your soul it is acceptable. If you tolerate mediocrity, you tell your future it is enough. And the mind listens. The body listens. The identity forms around tolerance. You have a choice. Lower your standards or raise your character. One cheapens you. The other builds you. Now listen closely. Self-respect begins when you stop explaining yourself. The need to justify is the need to be approved. But when your values are clear, you don't negotiate identity. You embody it. You don't need to be loud. Consistency is louder. You don't need to convince. Behavior convinces. People see what you allow. They feel what you tolerate. And that's how they treat you. Now think, who in your life constantly disrespects your time? Who stretches your boundaries? Who takes without giving? And what have you done? Stayed quiet, stayed polite, stayed small. Stop. Silence without self-respect is just fear. Silence with boundaries is strength. Set them, hold them, uphold them, and don't apologize. You don't need their permission to protect your peace. Now let's get precise. Your standards must be visible, not by argument, by action. If someone disrespects you, you withdraw access. If someone lies, you reduce proximity. If someone drains you, you remove availability. Not dramatically, not emotionally. Tween, quiet, permanent. That's discipline, not drama. And discipline builds identity, not negotiation. That's the key. Now understand this. Self-respect will offend weak people. Good, because weak people benefit from your weakness. They need you insecure. They need you unsure. They need you chasing approval. When you stop, they can't feed. Let them starve. Their discomfort is proof of your growth. You're not becoming rude. You're becoming rooted. Rooted in values. Rooted in direction. Rooted in identity. And rooted people don't beg the wind. They grow regardless. Now anchor this. Every time you choose comfort over principle, you erode trust with yourself. And when you break trust with yourself, confidence collapses. Keep your word to yourself. Show up. Do the hard thing. Leave what degrades you. Stand where you're respected. Your internal standards
become your external reality. That's law, not motivation. Now say this inside. I do not negotiate my worth. I do not shrink to be accepted. I do not stay where I am disrespected. I choose self-respect over approval, always. And when you act that way, people feel it. They treat you differently. They sense boundaries before you speak, because your energy is clean, firm, unapologetic. That's dangerous confidence. Now accept this. Not everyone will like you. That is the cost of being real. Being liked is easy. Being respected is earned. One lasts a moment, the other compounds for life. Choose compounding. You have a choice. Stay consumable or become immovable. Because approval fades. Self-respect remains. You mastered silence. You killed approval. You controlled emotion. Now you anchor identity. And now you are ready to learn how power really shows through the body.
Chapter 8. Carry yourself like you're unshakable. Your body tells the truth before your mouth ever speaks. Before you introduce yourself, before you offer a word, before you explain anything, your posture has already introduced you. That's the key. You have a choice. Walk like you are replaceable or stand like you are inevitable. One makes you blend in. The other makes you impossible to ignore. Confidence is not something you say. It's something you wear. In your shoulders, in your stride, in your stillness. Your body language either confirms your strength or betrays your doubt. There is no neutral. Every position, every movement, every gesture sends a message. The problem is, you've never trained your body to communicate power. You trained it to survive, to shrink, to adapt, to avoid conflict. Now you retrain it to command. Now listen carefully. An unshakable man moves differently. He does not twitch. He does not fold inward. He does not rush. He occupies space. His body is calm, stable, grounded. And because his body is stable, his mind feels secure. Posture and psychology are inseparable. Stand collapsed, and you think collapsed. Stand upright, and your nervous system wakes up. That's science, not motivation. You have a choice. Starve your confidence or fuel it. With your body, with your stance, with your presence. Now we get practical. Right now. Fix your posture. Lift your chest. Drop your shoulders. Lengthen your spine. Relax your jaw. Breathe deep into your belly. Hold your frame. Do you feel it? That's power returning. Your nervous system just got a signal. I'm safe. I'm solid. I'm in control. That's the key. Now understand this. People respond to posture, not your thoughts, not your intentions, not your potential. They read what you present. And if your posture is weak, you get treated like it. Life doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you broadcast. Your body is your broadcast system. So upgrade it. Now let's talk about walking. Stop floating. Stop shuffling. Stop scurrying. Plant your steps. Feel the ground. Walk slower. Stride clean. No bouncing. No nervous energy. Just control. Predators don't bounce. Leaders don't scurry. They glide, grounded, certain, calm. That's the energy you cultivate. Now let's talk about sitting. Don't curl, don't fold, don't shrink. Sit open, chest lifted, spine tall, feet grounded. Take space. Not arrogantly, confidently. Presence is not arrogance. Arrogance is insecurity wearing a mask. Presence needs no decoration. It simply exists. Now hands. Stop hiding them. Stop fidgeting. Stop touching your face. Rest them calmly. Move them purposefully. Every unnecessary movement is a leak. Your body should feel still, heavy, collected. That's the feeling you want. The weight of certainty. Now, eye contact. Weak eyes run. Strong eyes lock. But you don't stare. You hold. Soft. Unblinking. Unrushed. Looking away quickly signals submission. Holding calmly signals command. This is not about intimidation. This is about control. Now listen carefully. Unshakable body language is quiet authority. Not performance. Not exaggeration. Not posing. It's internal solidity reflected externally. If your mind is chaotic, your body will twitch. If your emotions are unstable, your posture will fold. And if your identity is uncertain, your movements will expose it. That's why this matters. The body is the scoreboard. It never lies. Now, here's your training. Daily, non-negotiable. 5 minutes in the mirror. Tall posture, neutral face, direct eye contact. Stand. Breathe. Do not move. Let your nervous system adapt. Stillness trains dominance. Stillness retrains weak instincts. Your body will resist at first. It wants to slump. It wants to escape. That's old programming. Override it. You are here not to be comfortable. You are here to be commanding. Next, walking practice. Slow, deliberate, silent. No music, no phone, just presence. Feel every step. Occupy the air. Treat movement like ceremony, not necessity. Now listen. When your body becomes calm, your mind stops panicking. When your posture becomes strong, your thoughts rise to match it. When your presence becomes grounded, your emotions stabilize. This is feedback. Train one, the other follows. That's the key. Now understand this. Most people suffer not because life is harsh, but because their body stays in survival mode. Hunched, tense, reactive. From the moment they wake to the moment they sleep. Your upgrade begins with your spine, with your chest, with your breath. Now anchor this. A body in command creates a mind in command. A body in chaos creates a mind in chaos. You don't think yourself into confidence. You posture yourself into it. That's the truth. Now speak this internally. I stand tall. I move slow. I hold space. I do not shrink. I carry myself like a verdict, because I am not waiting. I am arriving. Let that become your signature. Let people feel you before you speak. Now lock it in.
You walk like you belong everywhere, because you do. You sit like you cannot be moved, because you won't be. You hold yourself like you are unshakable, because you are building it every day. You mastered silence. You killed approval. You controlled emotion. You slowed time. Now you carry strength, and strength is visible.
Chapter 9. Let your results speak. Talk is cheap. Results are expensive. That's the key. Anyone can speak. Anyone can promise. Anyone can explain. But very few can perform, because performance requires discipline. And discipline is the rarest currency on earth. You have a choice: market yourself or build yourself. One creates noise. The other creates legacy. Right now, the world is full of performers and empty of producers. People announce plans, broadcast intentions, explain goals, and call it progress. It's not. Progress is quiet. Progress is boring. Progress is lonely. But progress is undeniable. You don't need their permission to disappear and improve. You don't need applause to build in silence. You don't need validation to grow. You have a choice: stay visible or become lethal. Lethal people don't talk, they train. That's the key. Now let's break the addiction to announcement. Every time you tell someone what you're going to do, your brain gets a hit of dopamine, as if you already did it. That dopamine makes you relaxed, comfortable, satisfied. And when satisfaction comes, effort dies. So stop announcing shifts and start making them. Let the result arrive first. Explain later if you even feel like it. Now get this: people do not respect effort. They respect outcomes. They don't follow motivation. They follow momentum. They don't believe words. They believe proof. It's not about what you say. It's about what shows up daily, consistently, without being asked. That's discipline. That's confidence. Confidence is knowing you're doing the work, whether anyone is looking or not. That's the kind of confidence nobody can steal, because it's built alone, in silence, in repetition. You have a choice: be emotional about goals or mechanical about process. One creates fantasy. The other creates identity. That's the key. Now listen carefully. When you are building something real, you don't need to convince anyone. Presence changes. Energy shifts. Results whisper, but they echo. People feel it. They can't explain it. They just know you're different. That's newborn respect. That's earned confidence. Now let's get brutal. If you were measured by your output, not your intention, would you qualify? Would your results speak loudly, or would your excuses echo? That's not an attack. That's accountability. And accountability builds killers, not victims. Confidence without results is delusion. Results without confidence is burnout. You need both. And the first starts with work. Quiet work. Relentless work. Ugly work. Now here are your rules. No posting your progress. No explaining your absence. No advertising your discipline. Let silence be suspicious. Let people wonder. Let them guess. Then let them see. That's impact. Now absorb this. You don't tell the world you're serious. You show it by removing noise and adding effort. You don't earn respect by talking about grind. You earn it by becoming undeniable. You have a choice: perform online or perform in life. One builds an image, the other builds destiny. Now the real discipline: show up tired, show up uninspired, show up bored, show up anyway. Because confidence is built by consistency, not excitement. Most people wait to feel ready. The dangerous man moves regardless. That's discipline. Now repeat this: I don't talk, I build. I don't announce, I execute. I don't need attention, I need results. Let that be your identity. Now understand this: every time you choose effort over excuse, you strengthen your nervous system. Every rep you complete, every hard day you don't skip, writes a new identity in your brain. I am reliable. I am disciplined. I am unstoppable. That's where confidence really comes from. Not compliments, not motivation. Work, and work alone. Now let's be honest. You are not tired. You're undisciplined. You're not burned out. You're disorganized. You're not unlucky. You're unprepared. And none of that is fatal. All of that is fixable. Through structure, through routine, through doing the boring work no one claps for. Now this is the mindset. While others talk, you train. While others complain, you produce. While others scroll, you build. Let the gap widen. That gap becomes dominance. And dominance never needs explanation. Now lock it in. Results outlast opinions. Performance silences critics. Consistency builds power. And the strongest voice in any room is success. You mastered silence. You killed approval. You carried your body. You controlled emotion. You slowed time. Now you build proof. And once the proof exists, everything changes.
Chapter 10. Become emotionally untouchable. Attachment is your last weakness. Not money, not skill, not status. Attachment. Because the moment something has power over your emotions, it has power over you. That's the key. You have a choice. You can be controlled by fear of loss or anchored by inner strength. One makes you reactive. The other makes you unshakable. Most people don't suffer because of what happens. They suffer because of what they cling to. People, outcomes, images, expectations. And attachment turns desire into dependency. Love becomes fear. Want becomes need. And the moment you need, you lose leverage. Now listen carefully. Emotionally untouchable does not mean emotionally dead. It means emotionally independent. You still feel. You just don't collapse. You still care. You just don't cling. That's maturity. That's power. And power feels calm. You don't need their permission to detach from what drains you. You don't need approval to release what weakens you. Now understand this. Every attachment creates vulnerability. The more attached you are, the more easily manipulated you become. If someone knows what you worship, they know how to break you. If someone knows what you fear losing, they know how to control you. So you stop worshiping externals. You stop building identity on temporary things. Approval fades. Relationships change. Status falls. Bodies age. Anything external can be taken. Internal discipline cannot. That's the key. Now this is where confidence becomes permanent. When your worth is no longer tied to what you possess or who you stand beside, you walk free. And freedom is magnetic. People sense it. They feel your lack of need. They notice your steadiness. And needlessness is dominance. Now, let's talk training. Emotionally untouchable is not a mindset, it's a skill. And skills are built through repetition, through exposure, through discipline. Step 1. Detach daily. Choose one thing: emotion, person, desire, outcome, and loosen your grip. Observe without clinging. Care without collapsing. Practice letting go on purpose. Step 2. Reduce emotional dependency. Stop making one thing your emotional oxygen. No one should be your universe. No job should define your life. No result should determine your worth. That's slavery. Step 3. Build a core. Create something inside you that does not change with success or failure. Routine, fitness, skill, principle. Anchor to those, not moods. Now listen, needing less is strength, not lacking, choosing. It's not about being numb, it's about being centered. Centered men cannot be shaken, and shaken men cannot be trusted. Trust begins with inner stability. That's the key. Now here's a truth few will tell you. If you can't lose it, it controls you. Read that again. If the thought of losing something scares you, then you're not holding it. It's holding you. And that fear leaks into your behavior. You tolerate disrespect, you avoid growth. You lie to yourself, all to protect attachment. Let it go. Not all at once, not dramatically. Gradually, consciously, daily. That's how untouchability is built. Now repeat inside. I love without clinging. I want without needing. I exist without fear. I am complete whether I gain or lose. That's your armor. Now understand something deep. Emotionally untouchable people are the calmest in the storm. While others fall apart, they focus. While others panic, they plan. While others cling, they act. Because they know loss is not the enemy. Attachment is. It's not about what you lose. It's about what losing reveals. Are you empty without it, or are you already whole? You have a choice. Live dependent or live sovereign. One creates anxiety. The other creates strength. Now here's your final discipline. Accept impermanence. Everything changes. That is not tragedy. That is freedom. When you expect change, you're not shocked by it. When you accept endings, you're no longer crushed by them. And when you stop fearing loss, you unlock power. Because fear is the leash. Now let's bring this home. Confidence is not luck. It's not charisma. It's not personality. It's non-attachment. It's inner stability. It's emotional independence. That's what makes you dangerous. Not in chaos, but in control. You mastered silence. You killed approval. You disciplined emotion. You built proof. You slowed time. You carried presence. Now you remove your final chain, attachment. And once you're free from that, no one can take anything from you, because you no longer belong to anything that can be stolen. Now lock it into your identity. Nothing owns me, nothing defines me, nothing controls me. I am rooted. I am centered. I am free. And free men are ungovernable. That's dangerous confidence. End of book.
Listen to this one last time. Real confidence does not chase. It does not beg. It does not perform. It stands still while the world adjusts to it. From today forward, you do not explain. You do not overshare. You do not seek permission to exist. You control your face. You slow your movements. You speak with intention or not at all. You no longer dry beg for respect. You don't raise your voice to feel powerful. You don't leak emotion for attention. You carry yourself like a verdict, like a presence that doesn't need defending, like someone who already knows. And now, here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, speak less, move slower, observe more, react to nothing. Let confusion sharpen your power. Let silence harden your confidence. Let discipline rewrite your identity. Because the strongest version of you is the one who no longer has anything to prove.